Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the life you wanted is no longer available to you. Not because someone stole it, not because the world was unfair, not because you lacked talent, but because you delayed too long. Because while you were waiting for motivation, time kept moving. While you were overthinking, other people were building. While you were saying, "I'll start tomorrow," thousands of tomorrows quietly disappeared. Now imagine looking around your room 5 years from today. Same walls, same routines, same excuses dressed in new language, same goals written down but never touched, same version of you, older, heavier, more tired, more disappointed. That future doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives one ignored morning at a time, one wasted afternoon at a time, one comfortable excuse at a time. And the most dangerous part? You won't even notice it happening until the damage feels permanent. Have you noticed how life rarely collapses in one dramatic moment? It usually decays in silence. A little discipline lost here, a little confidence lost there, promise broken to yourself, then another, until one day you don't recognize the person in the mirror. Not because they changed overnight, because they slowly became someone who accepts less effort, less courage, less standards, less truth. Most people think wasting life looks reckless. It doesn't. It looks normal. It looks like sleeping a little longer. It looks like checking your phone first thing in the morning. It looks like talking about plans more than building them. It looks like staying where you've outgrown because leaving feels uncomfortable. It looks like saying, "I'm trying," when you know you're avoiding. It looks like being busy with everything except what matters. And maybe that's why this hurts. Because deep down, you already know. You know exactly where you're cheating yourself. You know the habit that weakens you. You know the conversation you need to have. You know the work you keep postponing. You know the standards you dropped. You know the person you could become if you stopped negotiating with your own potential. The truth has been whispering for a long time, but distractions are loud. Entertainment is loud. Excuses are loud. Comfort is loud. So the truth gets buried under noise. But today, for a few minutes, the noise stops, and you're left with one uncomfortable question. If nothing changes, where will your current choices take you? Not your intentions, not your dreams, not the version of yourself you describe to other people. Your choices, your repeated behaviors, your daily patterns. Because your future does not care what you meant to do. It responds only to what you repeatedly do. Read that again in your mind. Your future is being built by routines, not wishes. By actions, not fantasies. By discipline, not mood. And if that feels harsh, good. Some truths are supposed to sting. Pain is often the alarm clock pride keeps snoozing. Right now, there are two versions of your life fighting for control. The first is the easy version, the distracted version, the version that wants comfort now and pays later, the version that says, "I'll start Monday. I need more time. I need to feel ready. I'll do it when things calm down." The second version is quieter, stronger, more dangerous. It says, start tired, start messy, start unseen, start before confidence arrives. Start because your life is being charged rent every day you wait. One version wants relief, the other wants growth. One version protects ego, the other builds character. One version keeps you familiar, the other transforms you. And every day, whether you realize it or not, you cast a vote. With your focus, with your habits, with your standards, with what you tolerate, with what you repeat. So ask yourself honestly, which version of you has been winning lately? Because the answer explains almost everything. Why your energy feels low, why your confidence feels unstable, why your goals feel distant, why your days blur together, why you feel capable, but stuck. You don't need another motivational quote. You need confrontation. You need honesty sharp enough to cut through denial. You need to admit that some of your suffering is self-created. Not all of it, but enough of it to matter, enough of it to change, enough of it to reclaim power. Because the moment you accept responsibility, you regain leverage. If your choices helped create the problem, Your choices can create the solution. That is not bad news. That is freedom. Most people never experience freedom because they spend their whole lives blaming. Blaming parents, blaming timing, blaming the economy, blaming bad luck, blaming lack of support. And while some obstacles are real, blame still keeps them weak. Responsibility, on the other hand, makes action possible. It says, maybe life wasn't fair, but what now? Maybe people failed you, but what now? Maybe you lost years, but what now? Maybe you're behind, but what now? That question can save a life, because it points forward, and forward is the only direction power lives. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can interrupt today. You can stop the pattern before it becomes identity. You can decide this is the last season of drifting. You can become unfamiliar to the habits destroying you. You can make discipline your new personality. You can become someone future you is grateful for, but only if you stop treating time like it is endless. Because here is the truth nobody likes to hear. There is a final number of mornings you will wake up to, a final number of chances, a final number of conversations with people you love, a final number of healthy years in your body, a final number of opportunities to become who you said you wanted to be. You are spending that number right now, silently, daily, automatically, and once spent, it does not refund. So no, this is not just another video. This is a mirror. And some people will click away because mirrors are uncomfortable. Others will stay. Others will feel something in their chest they've been avoiding for months, maybe years. Others will decide enough is enough. Decide that potential deserves action. Decide that regret is too expensive. Decide that comfort has taken enough already. Decide that this version of you has overstayed its welcome. Decide that excuses no longer get a seat at your table. Decide that delay is no longer disguised as preparation. Decide that fear no longer speaks for your future. Because there comes a point when thinking becomes hiding, when planning becomes procrastination, when consuming advice becomes avoidance, when waiting becomes surrender. And maybe that point is now. Maybe this is the morning where pretending stops. Maybe this is the hour where self-deception loses power. Maybe this is the moment where you finally admit that no one is coming to rescue the life you keep neglecting. No mentor can do your push-ups. No friend can make your hard calls. No podcast can heal the damage caused by your own repeated hesitation. No book can replace the courage of action. Wisdom matters. Guidance matters. Support matters. But eventually all insight arrives at the same door. Action. Without action, clarity rots. Without action, ambition becomes fantasy. Without action, talent becomes decoration. Without action, desire becomes torment. You already know enough to begin. You know what harms you. You know what strengthens you. You know what drains your energy. You know what earns your respect. You know where your time disappears. You know what you keep pretending not to know. So stop asking for another sign. The sign was your frustration. The sign was your envy. The sign was your anxiety. The sign was that dull disappointment you feel at night when the distractions end and reality sits beside you in silence. That feeling is not your enemy. It is information. It is life showing you the gap between who you are living as and who you could become. Most people numb that feeling immediately. They scroll, they snack, they gossip, they binge, they sleep. They spend money they did not earn to impress people they do not respect. Anything to avoid sitting with the truth. But growth begins when avoidance ends. Growth begins when you can sit in an uncomfortable room with yourself and say, yes, I have been wasting time. Yes, I have been betraying standards. Yes, I have been acting beneath my potential. Yes, I have tolerated patterns that weaken me. And then say the sentence that changes everything. No more. Not next year. Not after the holidays. Not when motivation returns. Not when circumstances become ideal. Now, because urgency is a gift. People think urgency is stress. Sometimes it is. But healthy urgency is awareness. It is understanding that life is finite. That energy declines. That opportunities move on. That season's close. That windows do not stay open forever. The body you neglect today may not recover as easily later. The relationship you ignore may not wait forever. The dream you postpone may expire from disuse. The courage you never practice may become harder to access. This is how people wake up at 40, 50, 60, confused by a life they slowly built through neglect. Not evil choices, not dramatic failures, just small daily abandonments. A workout skipped becomes a lifestyle. A truth avoided becomes a personality. A standard lowered becomes identity. A fear obeyed becomes a cage. That is why small actions matter so much. You do not become powerful in one heroic moment. You become powerful when you keep tiny promises to yourself long enough that trust returns. Wake when you said you would wake. Do the work you said you would do. Leave when you said you would leave. Train when you said you would train. Speak when you said you would speak. Stop when you said you would stop. Self-respect is built through evidence. Not affirmations. Not intentions. Not image. Evidence. Each disciplined act sends a signal. I can rely on myself. And once that signal repeats enough times, confidence stops being fake. It becomes earned. This is why disciplined people often seem calmer. They trust themselves. They know that if life becomes difficult, they will respond. They know that if fear appears, they can move anyway. They know that if plans fail, they can adapt. That inner stability is priceless. Meanwhile, the undisciplined mind lives in constant negotiation. Should I do it? Should I wait? Should I quit? Should I start tomorrow? Should I take the easy route again? That endless debate is exhausting. Decision fatigue often comes from refusing to commit to standards. Set the standard once, then obey it. Train 3 days a week. Read daily. Tell the truth. Keep your word. Protect mornings. Limit distractions. Save money. Leave toxic rooms. Finish what matters. Simple standards remove chaos. You do not need a more complex life. You need a more honest one. And honesty may require grief. Grief for wasted years. Grief for ignored talent. Grief for relationships damaged by your immaturity. Grief for opportunities you watched pass while pretending you had time. Feel it, but do not live there. Regret is useful only when converted into discipline. Otherwise, it is vanity wearing dark clothes. Some people romanticize regret. They talk endlessly about what could have been. They become historians of their own inaction. Do not become that person. Use the pain as fuel. Use the embarrassment as energy. Use the memory of stagnation as a reason never to return there again. There is still time. Maybe not infinite time. Maybe not perfect time. But enough time to change direction. Enough time to rebuild health. Enough time to repair character. Enough time to learn skills. Enough time to become trustworthy. Enough time to create momentum. Enough time to surprise yourself. But only if you stop worshiping the past and start using the present. Listen carefully. Momentum does not feel dramatic at first. It feels like a boring walk when you wanted a transformation. It feels like 10 pages when you wanted mastery. It feels like one workout when you wanted a new body. It feels like one application when you wanted a career shift. It feels like one difficult apology when you wanted peace. That is why many quit. They disrespect small beginnings. But everything large was once invisible. The oak tree was once buried. The business was once ignored. The athlete was once weak. The writer was once unread. The leader was once uncertain. The disciplined person was once inconsistent. Do not judge the first step by the final destination. Judge it by whether it moves you forward. And if you fall, good. Now you can stop fearing it. Failure is not the opposite of progress. It is part of progress. The failed attempt teaches. The awkward conversation strengthens. The imperfect effort builds tolerance. The rejected proposal sharpens skill. The missed target reveals weakness. Only ego demands a clean journey. Reality offers a messy one. Accept the mess. Keep moving. You are not disqualified because you stumbled. You are delayed only when you stop. Remember this when shame speaks. Shame says you ruined too much. Truth says begin anyway. Shame says others are ahead. Truth says run your race. Shame says you are inconsistent. Truth says become consistent now. Shame says it is too late. Truth says later will be even later. Do not confuse emotional weather with objective reality. A bad mood is not a prophecy. Low confidence is not destiny. Fear is not instruction. Doubt is not law. Feel what you feel, then act by principle. That is maturity. Children act by impulse. Adults act by values. So ask yourself, what kind of adult do you want to be? One who blames? One who drifts? One who numbs? One who performs strength online but collapses in private? One who talks endlessly and builds nothing? Or one who becomes solid, reliable, clear, disciplined, capable, steady under pressure, honest when costly, focused when distracted, dangerous in competence, peaceful in character? That person is not found. That person is trained. Day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit, standard by standard. No audience required. No applause required. No perfect mood required. Just repetition. There will be mornings you do not feel like it. Do it anyway. There will be days progress feels invisible. Continue anyway. There will be weeks where doubt returns. Hold the line anyway, because discipline is remembering what you wanted after the feeling changes. And feelings always change. If you build only when inspired, you will remain fragile. If you build when uninspired, tired, uncertain, and unseen, you become formidable. That is the difference. Anyone can move when excited. Few move when it is ordinary. Master the ordinary. Master boring consistency. Master quiet repetition. Master delayed gratification. Master showing up without drama. That is where lives are rebuilt. Not in cinematic moments. In Tuesdays. In mornings. In lonely evenings. In decisions no one praises. One day people may call you lucky. They will not see the discipline. They will not see the restraint. They will not see the temptations refused. They will not see the private battles won. They will only see the harvest. Let them misunderstand. Your job is not to explain your path. Your job is to walk it. So here is the final question. How many more warnings do you need? How many more tired Mondays? How many more unfinished goals? How many more promises to yourself broken casually? How many more years traded for comfort? How many more versions of you must be buried by delay? At some point, insight becomes responsibility. Now you know. Now you see the pattern. Now you feel the cost. Now you understand the stakes. So now choose. Choose the workout. Choose the truth. Choose the hard call. Choose the focused hour. Choose the early morning. Choose the uncomfortable growth. Choose the standard. Choose the future. And tomorrow choose again. Then again. Then again. Then again. Until one day you look around and realize something astonishing happened. The life you wanted did not appear by magic. You built it. And even then, the work is not over. Because once you build a better life, a new danger appears. Complacency. The mind that once suffered from laziness can later suffer from pride. The person who once begged for progress can later become casual with discipline. The one who escaped weakness can slowly romance comfort again. This is why growth is not an event. It is maintenance. Strength must be renewed. Character must be guarded. Focus must be protected. Standards must be defended. You do not climb one mountain and retire forever. Life gives ranges, not peaks. And every season asks a new question. Can you stay humble when you start winning? Can you stay honest when lying would benefit you? Can you stay disciplined when nobody is checking? Can you stay grateful when success becomes normal? Can you stay sharp when comfort invites sleep? Many people can suffer. Fewer can handle success, because pain often forces awareness. Comfort sedates it. When life is hard, problems are visible. When life gets easier, hidden decay becomes dangerous. You stop training because you deserve a break. You stop learning because you already know enough. You stop trying because you made it. You stop listening because praise became louder than truth. And slowly, the same arrogance that ruins empires enters private lives. The arrogance of thinking decline cannot happen to you. But decline belongs to anyone who stops paying attention. That includes the wealthy, the fit, the talented, the admired, the intelligent, the experienced. No one graduates from fundamentals. Sleep still matters. Integrity still matters. Effort still matters. Relationships still matter. Humility still matters. Self-command still matters. Ignore basics long enough and complexity will punish you. This is why the wise often live simply. They understand that peace is usually built from repeated basics. Move your body. Guard your attention. Keep your word. Spend less than you earn. Choose good company. Tell the truth quickly. Rest properly. Work deeply. Love directly. Leave what corrupts you. Simple does not mean easy. Simple means clear. The ego hates clear things because clear things remove excuses. It would rather discuss advanced strategy than maintain basic discipline. It would rather debate philosophy than apologize sincerely. It would rather research endlessly than begin awkwardly. It would rather signal virtue than practice it privately. Watch your ego carefully. It can wear noble clothing while sabotaging your life. Sometimes ego looks like arrogance. Sometimes it looks like self-pity. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism. Sometimes it looks like chronic indecision. Sometimes it looks like saying, "I'm meant for more," while refusing ordinary effort. That last one traps many people. They believe they are destined for significance, yet resent the repetition significance requires. They want the physique, not the training. The wealth, not the sacrifice. The respect, not the reliability. The wisdom, not the years of correction. The freedom, not the responsibility. But reality only trades in substance. You pay first. You earn later. Always. And if you refuse to pay in effort, you will pay in regret. If you refuse to pay in discipline, you will pay in chaos. If you refuse to pay in honesty, you will pay in confusion. If you refuse to pay in courage, you will pay in resentment. There is no free path. Only different invoices. Choose the bill that builds you. This is where many lives split quietly. One person accepts short-term discomfort and gains long-term dignity. Another avoids short-term discomfort and inherits long-term pain. The difference is often invisible early. Both can look fine at first. Both can smile. Both can post updates. Both can seem busy. But years reveal what days conceal. Time exposes all math. It reveals who saved and who spent, who trained and who excused, who learned and who coasted, who loved and who neglected, who faced truth and who decorated lies. Time is not emotional. It simply compounds. That should sober you and empower you, because if neglect compounds, so does discipline. A daily walk compounds. Reading compounds. Investing compounds. Skill practice compounds. Patience compounds. Kindness compounds. Honesty compounds trust. Focus compounds output. The smallest repeated good can outrun occasional greatness. People underestimate consistency because it looks unimpressive in the moment. 10 push-ups seem trivial. 1 page seems trivial. 1 saved dollar seems trivial. 1 hard conversation seems trivial. 1 hour of focus seems trivial. But repeated over years, these become different lives. So stop insulting small progress. That insult often comes from vanity. You wanted dramatic change because drama is visible. But real transformation is usually quiet enough to be mistaken for nothing. A person becoming wise often just looks calmer. A person becoming strong often just looks repetitive. A person becoming wealthy often just looks patient. A person becoming free often just looks disciplined. Do not confuse boring with powerless. Some of the strongest forces in life are boring. Gravity is boring. Interest rates are boring. Daily habits are boring. Truth is often boring. And yet they shape everything. Another truth few accept. You may need to disappoint people in order to save yourself. Some will dislike your boundaries. Some will mock your changes. Some will miss the version of you that was easier to control. Some benefited from your weakness. Some were comfortable with your confusion. When you become clear, not everyone celebrates. That does not mean you are wrong. Sometimes resistance is proof that old dynamics are dying. You may need to say no more often. You may need to leave rooms you outgrew. You may need to stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You may need to protect your mornings from other people's emergencies. You may need to become less available for nonsense. This can feel lonely. Good. Loneliness is sometimes the hallway between identities. You are no longer who you were. You are not yet who you are becoming. So some spaces will feel empty. Do not rush to fill them with old habits. Stay in the hallway long enough for a new self to form. That requires patience. Impatience destroys many recoveries. People begin changing, then panic because results are slow. They return to chaos because chaos feels familiar. They sabotage progress because peace feels strange. Yes, peace can feel strange when you were trained by dysfunction. Calm can feel boring. Consistency can feel unnatural. Healthy love can feel suspicious. Financial discipline can feel restrictive. Routine can feel lifeless. But sometimes what feels unfamiliar is exactly what heals you. Do not worship familiarity. Many prisons feel familiar. You must learn to ask a better question. Not, does this feel comfortable? Ask, does this make me stronger, clearer, freer, more honest? Comfort is a poor compass. Points toward ease, not meaning. Toward sedation, not growth. Toward repetition, not evolution. Meaning often lives behind resistance. The workout you resist. The apology you resist. The silence you resist. The task you resist. The boundary you resist. The truth you resist. Look carefully at what you avoid. It often guards the next version of you. And deeper still, some people are not lazy. They are grieving. Some are not undisciplined. They are ashamed. Some are not weak. They are exhausted from carrying unresolved pain. Some are not careless. They are numb. So discipline alone is not always enough. Sometimes you need healing. Sometimes you need rest. Sometimes you need therapy. Sometimes you need to forgive yourself. Sometimes you need to mourn what happened and what did not happen. Stoicism is not emotional suppression. It is right relationship with emotion. Feel fully, but do not be ruled blindly. Grieve but keep walking. Cry but tell the truth. Rest but do not quit. Fear but move anyway. Ache but remain honorable. That is deeper strength. Not pretending nothing hurts, but refusing to become smaller because it hurts. And perhaps the deepest truth of all, you are shaping yourself every day whether you mean to or not. Each repeated thought carves attitude. Each repeated action carves identity. Each tolerated standard carves destiny. You are always practicing something. Practicing distraction. Practicing courage. Practicing bitterness. Practicing gratitude. Practicing weakness. Practicing discipline. Practicing excuses. Practicing leadership. So ask yourself with brutal honesty, what am I rehearsing daily? Because rehearsal becomes performance. And performance becomes life. If that answer unsettles you, good. Unsettled people can still change. The truly lost are often the comfortably numb. So become awake. Wake to the cost of drift. Wake to the power of routine. Wake to the lies you repeat. Wake to the gifts you still possess. Wake to the years still available. Wake to the person waiting beneath your compromises. Then rise. Quietly, consistently, without announcement. Without needing applause, without demanding certainty first. Rise through conduct, rise through standards, rise through repetition, rise through courage in ordinary moments. And one day, those who knew the older you will wonder what happened. Nothing dramatic happened. You simply stopped abandoning yourself. That is where real structure begins to hold under pressure. Not in theory, but in repeated refusal to regress. The Stoics called this alignment with nature, meaning rational action over impulse. Marcus Aurelius wrote that discipline is returning to reason after distraction. Most people misunderstand progress as addition, not subtraction of distortion. But stability comes from removing noise, not adding complexity. The mind does not need more stimulation. It needs less interference. Every unnecessary reaction weakens clarity over time. Every unchecked impulse trains instability as identity. Epictetus warned that what disturbs people is not events, but judgments. So attention becomes the battleground, not circumstance. What you focus on slowly becomes what you become. Unfiltered focus leads to fragmentation of character. Directed attention produces coherence over time. Seneca observed that hardship strengthens judgment, but comfort dissolves it quietly. This is why ease must be handled with precision. Comfort is not enemy, but it is misleading when unmanaged. It removes friction that once kept awareness active. Without friction, assumptions grow unchecked. Without checks, standards degrade slowly, and degradation rarely announces itself. It appears as normal life long before collapse. That is why vigilance cannot be seasonal. It must be continuous, even when nothing feels urgent. The absence of pressure is not permission to relax standards. It is responsibility to maintain them without external force. A disciplined life is not reactive. It is preemptively structured against drift. Drift is always subtle at first. It does not announce itself as failure. It arrives as small justifications. Justifications repeated become identity shifts. Stoic practice rejects negotiation with excuses, not through force but through clarity of principle. If it weakens integrity, it is removed without debate. If it strengthens clarity, it is repeated without emotional dependency. Most people reverse this order. They negotiate first, then regret later. But reason should lead, not follow impulse. When reason leads, behavior stabilizes under variability. When impulse leads, life becomes episodic instability. Even success requires guarding, because success reduces urgency. Reduced urgency weakens discipline if unmanaged. That is why many decline after winning. Not because they failed externally, but internally. They stopped reinforcing what created success. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that praise does not improve judgment. Only action aligned with virtue does. So external validation becomes irrelevant to internal standards. The goal is not approval, but consistency. Consistency builds trust with self. Without self-trust, even achievement feels unstable. With self-trust, even difficulty feels manageable. Epictetus emphasized control over what depends on you. Effort, judgment, and choice belong to you. Outcome does not. Confusing the two creates unnecessary suffering. Clarity removes that confusion. Clarity simplifies decisions under pressure. When clarity is absent, emotions fill the gap. Emotions without structure become directionless force. That force often returns people to familiar patterns. Familiar does not mean correct. It only means repeated. Repetition without evaluation becomes drift. Evaluation without action becomes paralysis. Stoic discipline requires both observation and correction. Not occasional correction, but immediate adjustment. Small corrections prevent large breakdowns. Neglect accumulates silently until visible failure appears. But by then, reversal is harder. So prevention is more efficient than repair. This is why attention to detail matters in ordinary days. Ordinary days are where identity is rehearsed. Rehearsal determines performance under pressure. You do not rise to occasion. You fall to preparation. Preparation is built in unnoticed moments. In choices too small to attract attention. In decisions nobody applauds. In discipline without audience. That is where character is verified. Not in declarations, but in private continuity. Seneca wrote that no wind favors a ship without direction. Direction must be set internally before conditions change. Otherwise, reaction replaces intention. Reaction is always slower than preparation. Slowness under pressure produces regret. Regret is simply delayed recognition of avoidable drift. But recognition without adjustment is repetition of error. So correction must be immediate, not conceptual. When error is seen, it must be interrupted. Interruption creates space for new pattern formation. Without interruption, habit resumes control. Habit is more powerful than insight. Insight without repetition fades quickly. Repetition without insight strengthens blindly. So both must be aligned toward stability. Stability is not emotional comfort. It is structural predictability of behavior. Predictability allows trust in future actions. Without trust in self, hesitation increases. Hesitation weakens execution under pressure. Execution requires decisiveness grounded in principle. Principle removes uncertainty in decision-making. Uncertainty drains energy unnecessarily. Energy preservation is part of discipline. Not exhaustion, but efficiency of effort. Effort misapplied becomes burnout, not growth. Stoicism values effective effort over dramatic effort. Dramatic effort is often unsustainable. Sustainable effort appears less impressive but compounds. Compounding is invisible at early stages. That invisibility causes many to abandon it. They misinterpret slow growth as absence of progress. But slow growth is often most stable growth. Stability ensures durability under change. Change is inevitable, not optional. So durability matters more than intensity. Intensity without durability collapses under time. Durability is built through restraint and repetition. Restraint prevents unnecessary depletion. Repetition builds dependable structure. Together they form resilience. Resilience is not resistance to difficulty. It is ability to maintain function under it. That function depends on internal order. Order comes from disciplined attention. Attention determines what becomes real in experience. What is ignored eventually grows unnoticed. What is monitored remains within control. Control is not domination of events. It is alignment of response. Alignment reduces internal conflict. Internal conflict drains clarity. Clarity simplifies action. Simple action repeated becomes mastery. Mastery is not complexity. It is consistency without deviation. Deviation is the earliest form of collapse. So correction must happen at deviation stage, not after consequences appear. By then, correction is more costly. Stoics trained awareness precisely for this reason. To catch movement before it becomes identity. Identity forms slowly but solidifies permanently. What solidifies must be chosen carefully, because reversal requires sustained effort. Effort without clarity is inefficient. So clarity must guide discipline. Not emotion, not impulse, not external pressure. When clarity leads, behavior becomes stable. When stable, life becomes predictable. Predictability reduces unnecessary stress. Reduced stress increases capacity for focus. Focus improves execution quality. Execution determines long-term outcome. Outcome reflects accumulated decisions. Decisions reflect trained perception. Perception can be trained or distorted. Training requires repetition with intention. Intention must remain consistent under variation. Variation tests stability of principle. Principle that survives variation becomes identity. Identity determines default behavior. Default behavior determines trajectory. Trajectory determines life structure. Structure determines freedom. Freedom is not absence of constraint. It is alignment with chosen constraint. Chosen constraint creates direction. Direction prevents drift. Drift is the silent undoing of progress. Progress must therefore be protected. Protection requires awareness, not tension. Awareness is sustained observation without reaction. Reaction interrupts clarity. Clarity is necessary for correction. Correction preserves trajectory. Trajectory defines life over time. Time compounds whatever is left unattended. So nothing remains neutral under time. Either discipline compounds or decay compounds. There is no static existence. Everything moves in one direction or the other. So attention is not optional. It is foundational maintenance of self. There is no neutral state in human behavior. Everything is either being strengthened or weakened. Neglect is active decay. not passive rest. Stoics understood this as constant moral accounting. Marcus Aurelius wrote that every hour you choose your character again. That choice is rarely dramatic. It is usually quiet refusal or quiet compliance. Refusal to act correctly weakens structure immediately. Compliance with laziness becomes new baseline. Baseline always becomes identity over time. Identity is not declared, it is accumulated. Accumulation happens through repetition without interruption. Interruption is the only real safeguard against drift. Without interruption, habit becomes authority. Once habit becomes authority, reason becomes advisory only. That reversal is how people lose control gradually. Not through collapse, but through delegation of will to impulse. Epictetus framed this as slavery to impressions. Impressions arrive constantly and demand reaction. Reaction without evaluation produces instability. Instability feels like confusion, not failure. Confusion is tolerated longer than failure. That tolerance is dangerous, because tolerance becomes normalization. Normalization becomes character without awareness. At that point, correction feels like discomfort instead of necessity. Comfort is not safety. Comfort is sedation of vigilance. Sedation reduces resistance to internal decline. Decline rarely feels like decline while it is happening. It feels like easing, simplifying, relaxing standards. But easing standards is always directional. It always moves downward in structure. No system maintains itself without reinforcement. Human behavior is a system under entropy. Entropy increases without disciplined input. Discipline is negative entropy applied intentionally. Without it, complexity increases disorder over time. Disorder reduces clarity of action. Reduced clarity leads to emotional decision-making. Emotional decision-making is inconsistent by nature. Inconsistency destroys long-term outcomes. Seneca warned that uncontrolled mind is its own punishment, not because it is evil, but because it is unstable. Instability forces constant correction under stress. Correction under stress is inefficient and costly. Efficient correction happens before collapse, not after. But most people wait for collapse to adjust. They respond to pain, not pattern. Pain is a late signal. By the time pain appears, structure is already compromised. Stoic discipline trains sensitivity to early deviation. Early deviation is subtle shift in standards. Standards are not fixed concepts, they are practice thresholds. Lowering thresholds even slightly changes trajectory. Trajectory changes are invisible at first, but compounding ensures eventual divergence. Two identical starts produce different lives through small deviations. Not because of talent differences, but tolerance differences. Tolerance for excuses determines long-term discipline. Excuses are intellectual justifications for avoidance. Avoidance always has short-term relief. Short-term relief is misleading reward. It trains long-term weakness under disguise of comfort. Comfort becomes conditioning mechanism. Conditioning replaces conscious choice. When conditioning dominates, awareness weakens. Weakened awareness cannot detect decay early, so decay accelerates unnoticed. This is why vigilance is non-negotiable. Vigilance is not anxiety. It is structured awareness of deviation. Without vigilance, you outsource your behavior to habit loops. Habit loops do not care about your goals. They care only about repetition. Repetition without direction becomes drift. Drift always leads somewhere, never nowhere. It leads away from intentional design of life. Most people do not notice departure point. They notice only arrival point of consequences. But consequences are accumulated decisions made earlier. So responsibility must be taken at decision level, not outcome level. Outcome is lagging indicator. Decision is leading indicator. Stoicism focuses on leading indicators because they are controllable. Control is not external dominance. Control is internal governance of response. Response quality determines life quality. Low-quality responses feel easy but cost future stability. High-quality responses feel difficult but preserve structure. Difficulty is not a warning signal. It is a requirement for precision. Precision requires resistance against impulse. Impulse always favors immediate relief. Relief often conflicts with long-term order. So discipline must override impulse repeatedly. Not once, but continuously. Continuous override creates character reinforcement. Reinforcement is slow but irreversible over time. Reversibility decreases as repetition increases. This is why habits feel automatic. Automation is trained inevitability. You are always training inevitability. Even in neglect, you are training decay. There is no pause in formation. Only direction changes based on input. Input is attention, choice, repetition. Remove intention and default systems take over. Default systems are built from past repetition. Past repetition may not match current goals. So internal conflict appears. Conflict drains energy and weakens execution. Weak execution reinforces avoidance. Avoidance strengthens passive identity. Passive identity resists discipline by inertia. Inertia feels like resistance but is actually habit gravity. Habit gravity pulls behavior toward least effort path. Least effort path is rarely optimal path. Stoics rejected least effort orientation. They aligned with rational necessity instead. Necessity is not emotional preference. It is structural requirement for coherence. Coherence is stability of thought and action. Without coherence, identity fragments under pressure. Fragmentation produces inconsistency across situations. Inconsistency destroys trust in self. Loss of self-trust produces hesitation. Hesitation reduces effectiveness in decisive moments. Decisive moments are not rare. They appear daily in small forms. Small decisions accumulate into large outcomes. Large outcomes are often invisible until irreversible. That is why early discipline matters more than late correction. Late correction is expensive and incomplete. Early discipline is quiet and preventive. Prevention is invisible victory. Invisible victory is the foundation of visible success. Stoic practice values invisible victory above recognition. Recognition is external and unstable. Internal order is stable and sufficient. When internal order exists, external chaos loses leverage. When internal order is absent, external comfort becomes fragile. Fragility appears as anxiety without clear cause. Cause exists but is untracked behavior accumulation. So clarity requires honest self-observation. Observation must be unemotional and precise. Precision removes self-deception. Self-deception is most dangerous internal error, because it protects behavior that should be corrected. Correction requires honesty over comfort. Honesty is often uncomfortable initially, but discomfort is temporary. Instability from dishonesty is persistent. Persistent instability compounds into life dysfunction. Functionality requires alignment between belief and action. Misalignment creates internal friction. Friction drains cognitive capacity. Drained capacity reduces discipline execution. Reduced discipline reinforces misalignment. Cycle continues unless interrupted deliberately. Interruption requires conscious refusal of default response. Default response is always easiest path. Easiest path is usually maintenance of old identity. Old identity resists replacement. Replacement requires sustained contradiction of old habits. Contradiction feels unnatural at first, but repetition normalizes new structure. Normalization creates new baseline. New baseline becomes new identity layer. Identity layers stack through time. Stacked identity determines long-term behavior stability. Stability determines freedom from internal chaos. Freedom is not absence of responsibility. It is mastery of response under responsibility. Responsibility is unavoidable at all levels of life. Avoidance only delays cost. Delayed cost increases magnitude of correction required. So discipline is economic efficiency of behavior. It reduces future penalties through present alignment. Alignment requires rejection of drift at every stage. Drift begins in thought before action. So thought discipline is first line of defense. Uncontrolled thought becomes uncontrolled action. Controlled thought produces structured action. Structured action produces predictable outcomes. Predictability reduces uncertainty and fear. Reduced fear increases execution capability. Execution capability determines trajectory more than intention. Intention without execution is self-deception. Execution without intention is randomness. Neither produces stable progress. Only aligned execution produces durable results. Durable results define meaningful change. Meaningful change is not dramatic. It is structural and persistent. Persistence is built through refusal to revert. Reversion is always available option. Discipline is continuous refusal of that option. That refusal is the real dividing line, not between success and failure, but between drift and direction. Everything else is secondary to that choice repeated over time. No final moment arrives where discipline is no longer required. There is only maintenance or erosion. What you build must be held. What you hold must be reinforced. What you reinforce becomes your life without negotiation. Stoic clarity ends in this recognition. Nothing external stabilizes you permanently. Only your conduct does. And conduct is never finished. It is either being sharpened or allowed to dull. So the work remains simple in definition, demanding in execution. Return to what is essential. Strip what is unnecessary. Correct what is slipping. Repeat what is right. Do not romanticize progress. Do not fear repetition. Do not outsource responsibility. Do not confuse comfort with completion. Live as if maintenance is the price of not losing yourself. Because it is. And if that price feels constant, it only means you are finally aware of what it costs to remain intact. If this message hit you even slightly, don't ignore that feeling. Subscribe so you stay connected to this kind of thinking, because most people don't need more information, they need consistency. Comment what part challenged you the most, or what you're currently trying to fix in your life. The next video is already on your screen. Watch it now if you're ready to go deeper. Like this video if it gave you clarity, and share it with someone who's trying to get their life back on track.